Good morning, Flagler County, and welcome to Veterans on Point, a WNZF radio show developed in mind for our county's beloved and respected veterans population and anyone else listening via internet or podcast. I'm your host, David Lydon, the Flagler County Veterans Services Officer, and I am back with my friend and colleague at the office, Eric Flores. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Dave, and good morning to all our listener, our watcher right there in YouTube. So I hope everybody's doing well, health-wise, and happy to be back from a hot weather to another hot weather.
How was your trip?
Oh, it was great.
Had a great trip?
Awesome.
Excellent. So, but if you're lucky enough to live in Flagler County, you are lucky enough. And you may see, if you're a viewer, that we have a couple guests in here. Of course, you know Jeff Kingdon, who was the guest host for a few weeks, and our current Flagler County Veteran Service Officer and Marine. And we have Ed Deere, another Marine Corps officer, served in Vietnam as well, combat engineer. Good morning, Ed. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
David. Good morning to our two Yarhead friends out here, and welcome to the show.
No, we'll start no fights now.
No fights. Be patient with them. You know, we have to have a lot of patience with them. So,
so in the second half of the show, we'll be talking to Ed about a book that he authored called What Happened? The question mark fell off the book, but anyway, it's Damn What Happened, and we'll talk to him about why he wrote the book. So we'll be back with Ed in a little bit.
That book was written by a Marine, but it was approved by the Chief of Naval Operations.
and the shots keep going. So, all right. So the next thing, Eric and I are your Flagler County Veteran Services officers. We're at 1769 East Moody Boulevard in Bunnell. Our phone number is 386-313-4014. We're there to help you with your VA claims and much more. It could be Department Defense Finance Accounting Service, things of that nature as well. Help you set up your VA.gov accounts. Many other things that deal with the VA and your military background. Song of the week, of course, we regularly do the national anthem or the Star Spangled Banner, and we're going to stick with the one that we did last week, too. We're going to have that one for a while. That one, our League of Loyal Listeners leader, Billy Jones, likes that one, so we're going to keep that one rolling.
Awesome.
And speaking of our League of Loyal Listeners, I think we're going to trim down the list a little bit to folks that we hear from.
Yeah.
So we haven't heard from you in a while. You might not hear your name today. But the leader is still Billy Jones, who is now a resident of San Cyr.
Good morning, Billy. Does he have his radio ready?
He's got the radio ready.
Awesome.
He's there at San Cyr, like some of our other friends, like Master Chief Dan and his wife Kay at San Cyr. That's a popular destination for some of our veteran friends. So
I put my name in the list.
Good morning, Billy and Dan.
And then Jeff Kingdon, who goes to, he's not living there yet, but he goes there and does presentations to the veterans. So I know, Jeff, thank you for doing that.
Yes, he do a lot of things.
And I heard from Talkin' Tom today, and I heard from Charlie Hanger yesterday, he listens with his wife, Jenny.
Morning, guys.
And let me see who, I know we got to talk about Frank and Frankie Jr.
Frankie, I hope he's doing better. I know he had a surgery something, so I hope he's doing well.
We still have a lot of thank you coins for veterans courtesy of Frankie Jr. So Frankie Jr., I am giving those out. And who else?
Bicycle Frank. Check this out, Dave. I saw Bicycle Frank riding a bike now. So he moved up from a tricycle to a bike. I saw him riding a bike now. So
he's back on the two wheels.
Yeah, that means he's doing well.
Back on two wheels. Yeah, he's healed up really well for
That's great.
An 82-year-old guy that got hit by a car a couple times.
Yes.
And who else? Who else did we hear from lately? Oh yeah, James the Mailmaid. He's been in touch with us lately. Yes. So we're gonna leave it at that for today. And then we got to remind you about Massage by Natalie and Company. Ed, if you ever need, you ever got those achy, breaky bones and muscles, Massage by Natalie and Company. They're located at 4871 Palm Coast Parkway Northwest, Suite number 1 in Palm Coast. And
I like the Nason walking on my back.
okay, I don't know if they do that, but they're I know another place. They go to the buffet. They get up to like 350, then they walk on your back. How's that?
That would hurt.
That will hurt.
Just thinking about it.
But that's not Massage by Natalie.
No,
Just
that
so
is
you know,
not.
folks.
Oh, okay.
All right, and then Massage by Natalie and Company is 386-227-7499, and one of our listeners did visit there a couple weeks ago, and we're very happy with it, and so you can be happy too. All right. As you know, we like to talk about history on this show, and so we've been going through our list of presidents for the last 20-some weeks. And the president is the commander-in-chief, so that does relate to Veterans on Point, of course. And so this week is the 27th president, who is William Howard Taft. So the snow crunched under William Howard Taft's boots as he trudged through the White House grounds, his breath visible in crisp Washington winter of 1910. At 300 pounds, the 27th president of the United States was an imposing figure, yet his genial nature and sharp mind made him the favorite among staff. But beneath the jovial exterior lay a man wrestling with the weight of leadership and a little-known quirk that tied him to an unexpected legacy, the introduction of cherry blossoms to Washington, D.C. Taft's presidency from 1909 to 1913 is often overshadowed by his predecessor, Theodore Roosevelt, and his successor, Woodrow Wilson. Yet his tenure was marked by progressive policies, trust-busting, and a diplomatic gesture that would transform the capital's landscape. In 1910, Taft's wife, Helen, Nellie Taft, became enamored with the idea of beautifying Washington after visiting Japan and witnessing its iconic cherry blossoms. Few know that Taft himself played a quiet but pivotal role in this endeavor. When Japan offered 2,000 cherry trees as a gift to strengthen U.S.-Japan relations, the first shipment arrived in 1910, infested with pests. Taft, after the diplomat, personally ensured the delicate situation was handled with grace. He approved the destruction of the diseased trees to protect American agriculture, a decision that could have strained relations. Instead, his tactful correspondence with Japanese officials secured a second healthy shipment of 3,020 trees in 1912, which were planted along the tidal basin. This little-known fact, Taft's direct involvement in securing the cherry blossoms, reveals his knack for quiet diplomacy. While history often paints him as a reluctant president caught between Roosevelt's progressivism and conservative Republican factions, Taft's steady hand in the instance left a lasting mark. Those trees, now a symbol of spring in D.C., draw millions annually, yet few connect them to the portly president who loved a good bath. Yes, the apocryphal bathtub story persists, though it's exaggerated. Taft's presidency wasn't all blossoms. He pushed for tariff reform, established the Department of Labor, and expanded civil service protections. But his failure to unify his party cost him re-election in 1912. Still, as he walked the White House grounds, perhaps imagining the cherry trees in bloom, Taft showed a vision for legacy beyond politics. Years later, as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, he'd find his true calling. But the tidal basin's pink petals remain a quiet testament to his diplomatic finesse, a fact as understated as the man himself. And here's a quote from Taft. "The world is not going to be saved by legislation." And that came during that was coming from him as a skeptic over reliance on laws to solve societal issues. He emphasized practical governance during his presidency. So, William Howard Taft. Anybody learn anything again today?
Taft and the trees.
And the trees.
Taft and the trees.
There you go.
You hear the trees every spring.
So
Yes.
as I'm reading, I'm thinking about they did it to strengthen our relations, and then 30 some years later, they're
We're at
attacking.
war with
Yeah.
War with them.
Things happen.
Yeah. So that comes to the point of the program. We shift gears, and then I say, drivers. The DAV is seeking volunteer drivers to take veterans from their homes to their VA appointments, whether that be a VA appointment at the local clinic, at a VA medical center in Orlando or Gainesville, whether that's a community care network appointment set up by the VA or if that's a compensation and pension exam. If you cannot get to your appointments because of whatever reason, you're on medication that doesn't let you drive, you don't have a car, you don't have a driver's license anymore, give the DAV a call at 386-439-2122. Find out how you can take advantage of that transportation, but also if you are able to drive, again, you don't have to use your own vehicle for this volunteer opportunity. The DAV does have VA vehicles, but give them a call, find out how you can be a volunteer. And it's a great program. All right, so I've got one more thing before we scoot over to Mr. Deere about his book, and that is there's a new, research suggests that there's up to 20% of suicides, not just veteran suicides, but suicides are in part due to financial problems. So the VA has been trying to solve the suicidal problem with veterans. And so one of the ways that they're trying to chip away at that problem is to help with financial literacy. So they have a new tool for reducing veteran suicides. It's a financial tips website for helping former service members pay off debts, avoid scams, and better manage their money. So they cite research showing unemployment and financial stress puts veterans at higher risk of suicide. VA officials said the self-help guide assists veterans in building budgets, connecting with help, and recovering from financial setback. It's called FinVet, F-I-N-V-E-T, and it's short for National Veterans Financial Resource Center, which focuses on helping veterans mitigate financial problems as a strategy for reducing their suicide risk. So I wish they would just start, hammering away at financial literacy in the beginning
I was going to say that,
in elementary school.
it's never too late, but, I was going to say about, if we start earlier, I think we learn something earlier and it helps everybody.
Well, I mean, not just suicides, domestic problems.
Yes.
Just teach people that spend less than you make, save. I'm hoping that this new $1,000 that's been, that newborns will get from the government and starts like a retirement account for them. I'm hoping that the government will come up with some way to, to kind of incorporate into the school system, financial literacy, so that for a lot of reasons, not just suicide, but domestic problems.
It help. I mean, it helps, period.
Good. All right. So, Mr. Ed Deere, United States Marine, Captain.
Aye.
Aye.
Sir.
Why did you write your book?
Well, it was kind of interesting. I was at a social group and talking with some of the ladies there, and I gave them a couple war stories. And afterwards, one woman came out to me. She said, "You should write a book." I said, what's a defensive tackle doing writing a book? So I sat down the next day in front of my computer, and I started word processing. And boy, it all came back.
All started pouring out, huh?
Very clear, too. I think first time I did 30 pages. Wow. The book is 206 pages, but I was surprised of how clear it was and how it went. So
how did it feel?
It was kind of
mixed, probably.
It was cleansing, but yeah. When you have KIAs, which are men that are killed in action, it's tough. And the Marine Corps generally has a unwritten law that the officer writes a letter to the parents or wife. Mm-hmm. That was tough because, you kind of, I coach football, I coach baseball, college level, kids level, what have you, and I knew how to unify a group. And when that's the last thing that the parents have of their son, that's on your mind when you're writing it, and you've got to...
Big responsibility, you felt, right?
Yeah, and they're good. They were good Marines. The first one was the littlest guy in the platoon with the biggest heart, and it was an accident where some square telephone poles, bridge poles, and it fell off the flatbed and hit him in the chest and head and really messed him up badly. we tried to help him, but you could just hear the blood in his chest and whatever we're going to do. But that was a tough one. The second one I had was I'm losing it for a minute here thinking about things. But the second one was a command detonated mine, that's a mine that's put into the dirt in the road. The wires the guy works out and puts on somewhere camouflaged that he can see us, because all he has to do is touch the two wires together. And this Marine was completely over the mine. In a sweep team, you have the mine detector person first. Second person is a prober. So they found the mine, and then they marked it, and then they moved up, and he moved up, and he was directly over it. And the guy set the mine off, blew his body about 15 feet in the air, and it fell down on his buddy, who was the mine detector person. That was a tough one, because when I went through personal effects, you check all that as the officer, so there's nothing sent back to the family that would hurt them, like some pictures from R&R. Never found them, though. But this young man was very religious. He had 68 letters in 3 months with his wife and Jehovah's Witness, and they kept saying God will protect you. That one kind of was tough to keep reading that, but I didn't read them all because there wasn't anything in the letters that were going to hurt the family. So that was the number 2 letter. And number 3 letter was an individual that was quite dedicated to his platoon, wanted to be with his buddies. So on the way over, we stopped in the Philippines, and malaria was a problem, and he didn't take the pills. So he got malaria. So he was supposed to go back to the States when we went forward towards Vietnam on the Iwo Jima was the ship. But he wanted to be with his buddies. So without any tickets, without any papers, he was getting on ships when he found out that we're headed towards Vietnam. So he just walked on a couple ships, and he got over to Da Nang. Then he got into a convoy somehow. He got a seat here. He was in the convoy, and he came back up to Dong Ha where we were. And I'm standing there in the road, and I said, "What the hell are you doing here?" He said, "I want to get back with the guys." I said, "Oh, okay, here they are." So he was happy. Things are going good. But we were engineer platoon that supported an infantry unit. And the infantry unit we supported was 1-9, 1st Battalion, 9th Marines. And their nickname was the Walking Dead. And the reason for that, they had the most casualties of any Marine unit over in Vietnam. So when they went out and patrol and all, they always asked for engineers in case they bumped into booby traps or anything of that nature. And he was out on patrol with 1-9, and it was in an ambush, and he got machine gunned through the chest. So that was the 3rd one. The 4th and 5th, I had gone home, but I still felt these guys were my men, and they were killed while with 1-9. So that was my beginning.
Well, I mean, it's obvious that those things are still present on your mind, and you want, and I can tell you want to give them honor by even mentioning today. So, and those are the first things that come to your mind out of your book. That means is you want to provide that memory. So,
well, as an officer, you become a father,
right,
a brother, a counselor, what have you. And I would get into personal problems. What do you say, a Marine whose girlfriend got pregnant? Not with him. Then you're a counselor. I had one Marine kill another Marine by mistake, and that was tough because I brought him back with me, and we would talk every day, and I got him back in 2 weeks. That's one of the problems. You don't want to lose people. Mm-hmm. And he was good. He came around pretty well. It wasn't his fault that he killed the guy. The guy just came over from stateside. In other words, he just came in from the States. And he was a sergeant, and they had a bad battle. And afterward, this guy decided to walk around the perimeter, which you don't do. Now, stateside, you can do that. Nobody's shooting at you. So what happened? They had this battle going on, and then it was over. And he goes out and he's walking out front, and he brushed this bush, and then this Marine saw it, and he turned around and puts 14 rounds in the bush, 7 in the Marine. And of course, he was really upset about it. But I talked to him. I said, "Look, if it was an enemy, you would have saved the group. It was an accident, and it was his fault, not yours." And so he came around, got him back in a couple of weeks to duty. In fact, at the end, I promoted him to corporal because he really did a nice job. So
let me ask you a question.
Yeah, Jeff Eric, you got questions?
Yeah, while you was writing that book, did you feel a sense of relief, while you was writing it?
I did.
Did
yes.
it help you? That's my...
It did. It did. But it also brought back a lot of memories.
Right.
I
I have read before that people that write or people that, help them mentally, to lay things out.
I still have problems with it. I was at my son's house in Washington, D.C., and it was a holiday, and they had the band and this patriotic things. I started crying. I was sitting on in fact, I'm getting choked up now. I was sitting on the sofa and crying away, my grandchildren, what's wrong with Grandpa? Things like that would happen. You don't forget stuff like that. It's too traumatic to forget. And
Have you followed up with any of these guys?
I found one. The guy that did the forward in the book, Joe, was a sergeant, and he was out at Quezon, which is one of the worst places, and with a squad of engineers out there. And he spent most of his time there. But he did give me a compliment. He said, "Sir, if you were going to be our leader all the time, I'd stay in." I said, "Well, I'm not staying in." But you become, football helped me a lot. I played football about 7 years at different levels in high school and at Temple University with Bill Cosby. And then the Quantico Marines had a team for recruiting. We had a college schedule, played Villanova, Marshall, stuff like that. Then I went to Vietnam, and then I came back and coached the Quantico Marines. And one of the tough games was against against the Navy, where the pilots are near Tallahassee. What's the name of that place?
Pensacola.
That's it. And they had some quarterback named Roger Staubach, and he beat us.
I was gonna say so, but
I see your Quantico uniform almost looks like the 49ers. There's like similar colors. Right?
Yeah, well, we didn't have much choice. That's the Marine Corps colors.
Yeah, that's the Marine Corps colors, but it looks like the 49ers uniform. Well, folks, we've been listening to Ed Deere, United States Marine Corps captain, Vietnam veteran, who wrote a book. I don't know if you can see it on. Can we see that there, Mr. Producer? And he wrote a book called Damn, What Happened? It's available. You can get it off of Amazon, right?
Yes, Amazon. And
Do you have a closet full you're selling too?
No.
They're all on
They
Amazon?
don't even give me a free. The one I gave you, I paid for it.
Oh, okay.
A little respect.
Well, this will be our office version, like our library. So
People will be knocking on your door to read it.
That's right. When they hear
we will
this,
market your book.
There's about 15 pictures in there, all of me.
of course, you're in love with Ed.
Well, that's on the front. The front page is a picture of myself. I was our first operation or landing, and somebody asked me in the background, "What's that guy doing?" I said, "Well, he's digging my foxhole."
Yeah.
Always had a corporal with me that was very strong, and he was, because in Pennsylvania when he was in high school, he was the parallel bar state champion. So he was a pretty good kid. You're dealing with kids 17 years old and some 16 that got in somehow, and maybe 18, but they're young and there's problems.
Well, we're down under the 2-minute warning. This is a football analogy for you. Where the show's under the 2-minute warning.
Okay.
But this is the 3rd Engineer Battalion, 3rd Marine Division, Construction Destruction.
And you guys want to join the tunnel rats? I know.
I think the Marines were probably better at destruction.
Yes.
And
yes.
the Seabees were better at construction.
Construction, yeah.
You know, I told my men when we got into Nang, I said, I don't know why we're here, but we're here, and we're going to take care of each other, and here's how the way it goes. Bang, halt.
All right, quickly, before we got to go, we got the Flagler County Veterans Day Parade coming up and the ceremony on November 11th, which is the day after the Marine Corps birthday, in case you
I hope you're sober.
remember that.
Don't forget.
And 10 o'clock is the parade, and around 11 o'clock after the parade is the ceremony. We'll get that in today for our notifications. The nominations for the Veteran of the Year, those are open until September 30th. If you want to have the nomination instructions, give us a call, 386-313-4014. We'll get that to you. And then I got to let you know that no country, no state, and no community does more for veterans than the United States of America, the great and free state of Florida, the wonderful Flagler County, the lovely city of Palm Coast, and all of our beautiful beach cities. Be a victor, not a victim. Be educated, not indoctrinated. And most importantly, be kind to someone today, or many someones. Mr. Deere, thank you for being here today and sharing
Thank
some
you,
of
sir.
your
Thank you, Ed.
experiences.
Good
Nice
stories.
being here.
Thanks, Jeff, also.
Have you maybe come back another time and talk a little bit more
well,
about.
you made my day all choked up. Thanks a lot.
It's so good. It's so good.
Oh, and so we got a couple Marines here, just so you remember the 250th anniversary of the Marine Corps this year. The Marine Corps League here locally, Flagler County's got a banquet. I forget. is
Marine
it
Corps Ball.
Marine Corps Ball. And which day is it?
Saturday, November 8th.
So the November 8th.
Right,
Okay.
from 17 to 2200.
So we got a ways to go. So if you want a
It's going to
ticket
be at the Marriott
Yeah.
at the Hilton Garden.
Hilton Garden.
Hilton Garden. So
That is 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. for you Marines.
And you don't have to be a Marine to attend.
there
Right.
you go.
Everybody's welcome.
All right,
Jarhead-
folks.
Jarhead is not required.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, and we'll be back with you next week.
Thank you, guys.
Talking Tom
you.
should be here.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Bye-bye.